Hey guys, what's going on? This is MJ here. It's been a little bit of a day. Sorry, we're a little bit behind. But here in a few minutes, I should expect Chris to come on, and excuse me, we got quite a bit of discussion to happen with him. Um, he's a sponsored driver with Please forgive me if I don't hit all of the pieces. There he is right there. I'm going to invite you in. He's a sponsored driver with Castle Creation, Crazy Crawlers, Boca bearings, all kinds of stuff. I mean, also got a heck of a personality. Um, I've had the opportunity to interact with Chris a bunch over the internet, and I've also had the great opportunity to actually meet Chris over at Motorama as he's part of G. Hey, there he
Hey,
is.
MJ. How's it
What's
going,
going
buddy?
on, brother? How you
Not
been?
much. Yeah, doing good. How about you?
I'm trying to survive here.
Yeah.
I'm in a process. Got a little late, you know. That's the story of my life right now. A little late, dollar short. Trying to get on and trying to stream this to YouTube too, because you know.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you got
Hey,
your
you're the
booty shirt
master
on.
at it, so.
Yeah, the master's just trying to work. Cause you're about my third interview, maybe.
Is that right?
Yeah, right over there. Well, yeah, the boss man. You know, Brian.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
So
yeah,
it's been Parker, Matt Ottman, and me.
yeah. Oh, speaking of the boss man, there he is, right there. How you been?
Sweet.
So what? All right. I mean, what really got you going into RC, man?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's an interesting story, but so about 5 years ago, I was working in Maryland, and
I'm
my
so
home's
sorry.
here in Kentucky. So I was started doing a lot of hiking. And one time I was out on the trail and I came across these guys running their trail rigs. And I'm like, I want to do that. So actually, the next day, I really didn't know toy grade from hobby grade or anything.
Right.
I went to Walmart and bought like one of their expensive $80 crawlers and went out and started going out in the trails. I'm like, man, it was cool, but I'm like, there's got to be something better. And then I started doing more research and got into the hobby grade crawlers.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. So, what was
Yeah,
your
so
first
that's
hobby
kind of the
grade?
short story. What's that?
What's your first hobby grade?
It was the Vetera Ascender, the Bronco Ascender, actually.
Okay, so
Yeah.
really, you're not that far into it because that's not a
No,
super old truck.
nope. I've been into it. This will be 4 years now, so
Wow.
I'm definitely a late bloomer.
I look, I can't talk on that. My dad's a late bloomer as well. He got into it a few months ago, and he's not quite as deep as you are, but he's definitely following right down that rabbit hole right quick. Oh
Back
man.
here,
So,
here's my first rig right here.
oh wow.
Actually, I've stolen a lot of parts from it for my other Ascender. I have a K5 chassis Ascender that I've stolen parts and used the receiver and all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
But
You know, it's funny because actually somewhere right over that way, I have an Ascender as well in exact same condition. You know, I pirated it for parts as I was building my competition rig. I'm like, what
right,
can I do to save money? So you know, I'm looking forward. You know, looking at your sponsorships because like there's a laundry list, man. Like that's an achievement to be proud of. How'd you get
yeah.
that? Like,
I think maybe probably part of it is it's very hard for me to say no to anybody. So when people ask me and but no, that's the funny story. But actually, it's just evolved to it, and I love to promote products and friends events that my friends put on. So I'm
mhm.
more of like a promoter than actual. I'm not a good build. I'm not a great builder. I'm not a great driver. You know, the only thing I do competitively is the long distance trail enduros, that type of thing.
Oh, because I see your 10-mile hikes every other day. Yeah. If I got that way, I'd be skinny.
Yeah, it's like once a week or so, but that's the part I enjoy, just getting out there and just driving for 5-6 hours straight, and that's all I'm doing. You know, that's all I'm worried about. You forget about everything out there.
You know, it's funny you say that, because even in the worst pain that my body has been in, I've got severe arthritis, and like, I know Desmond Mooney had a successful surgery, and I wish him good recovery and quick recovery. I'm pretty much in that same boat that he was. So I got at him, and, you know, we kind of talked a little bit. And I mean, I definitely feel that walking the trails, and actually since I started into RC, it's kind of helped me. You know, I've got a little more flexibility, got a little more giddy up in my step, and, you know, the other half appreciates that. But, you know,
I know. I think it's good for you in that way also. It also gets people outside and gets families outside with mothers. I mean, fathers and sons and daughters and mothers and wives, husbands, everybody. So, and that's good overall.
It's funny you say that. My daughter loves my RC trucks. Wife, not so much, but my tiny human, she's all about them. She's like, "Oh, daddy truck?" And it's over. Yeah. She sat in the bed of my TF2 to help me break into those leaf springs.
Yeah.
Let's just say a heart attack wouldn't happen. It was toddler after toddler. So, you know.
So, yeah, the first couple sponsors I got were it was really Voodoo and Team Ottsix was my first sponsorship. And that was one where, you know, I had the products, or I was using the tires, and I started promoting it on Facebook and say, hey, these are really good. And just told everybody about them. And then I saw they put out for open registration or application to be a driver, and I applied, and I actually got selected. That's awesome. I was very surprised, because I was very new into the hobby, but also they probably saw how much I do on Facebook and how much I promote the products. And I wrote a nice letter. That's one thing I feel I can do well. I can write well.
Right.
So I can promote myself good. I can promote other products well. So I think that's how I've gotten more than a few of the sponsorships.
That's awesome. So, I mean, looking at that, how have those sponsorships helped you? You know, I mean, obviously they help you make contacts and such, but how have they helped you evolve just in the RC community? And also, you know, give that knowledge, like how is that working out?
Well, I think, yeah, it depends what product. We'll stick with Castle or Voodoo with tires or the electronics. I really enjoy when I meet people. They ask me what I'm running. I will always show people and explain, and just give him some of the insight as maybe a new person that they don't understand censored, or they don't understand brushless, and how I can at least try to tell them that, yeah, it's a good product.
So magic with the words is what you're saying, the short version.
Yeah, I mean, I love telling people about the things that I run. You know, I don't have all the experiences in the world. There's probably good products, but I feel for what I run that in what I do, it serves me very well. You know, nice. Being tires or all the electronics.
That's awesome. So here's a magic question, and I bet you Parker's been itching. When am I gonna get to it? So how'd you get involved with Recon G6 and being part of the G crew?
All right, yeah, I knew you were gonna ask that one, so I was kind of planning my words, but probably in 2016, I think it was. After I forgot, I was wrong. The first hobby grade RC I had was a Traxxas Summit, which I have over there. Well, hold on.
Hold on, as you're saying that, Parker's saying something about traction, right? So I gave Matt Ottman the idea to put the X4 treads on a bunch of socks. Hopefully he does that.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen people take the treads and put them on the bottom of their shoes and things. That's pretty funny. But
that's awesome.
So actually,
that's
like
awesome,
I said, I forgot. My first hobby grade was a Traxxas Summit. You know, so it was a monster truck, but it was a one of those go anywhere and everywhere type of rigs. So I bought that. And that's what I went out on the trails with, and I ended up nicknaming the truck the Trail Trasher because I could tear up some trails with that truck for sure. But
I mean, that's defining sending it, man.
It was fun though.
You learned a lot how to take a line. That's awesome. You learned a lot how to take a line because that thing's like way wide.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of spots where the 1/10 scale trail trucks can fit in and drive much better than my Summit ever could. You know, it just depends on the terrain and in the tightness of it, of course.
Yeah, but they can't go as fast as that can.
Yeah, that's true. It can go pretty good.
So how did you get involved with the G6? What's the story that Parker's making you stick to?
So I met Parker in 2016 for the first time at Team K&K TTC up there in Lebanon, Ohio. Put on by a friend of mine, Mike Kirby, and his family, another great family for the hobby. And so I met him there, and I started talking. I said, hey, I saw your videos. I looked at your events. But you don't have anything for I have a Traxxas Summit. You know, why don't you have a class so, you know, guys with Summits can come out? And that's how it started. And he was like, well, let me think about that. And then
awesome.
over the next year, I was probably sending him messages and things like that. And finally, when I got my Ascender and my other trail trucks, I wanted to go to a Recon G6 event, but I never could fit it into my schedule. So when the company I was working for in, 2017, sent me to Germany for a conference in Berlin.
Okay.
And Parker was doing a Recon G6 that weekend after my conference in Poland.
Okay.
So I actually decided, well, I'm going to stay the weekend and drive into Poland and go to the Recon G6. So my first Recon G6 was in southern Poland, which was a blast, really. I'm good people. I have so many friends still from there that we chat regularly from many different countries over there, from Poland to Sweden to Italy. So that was the first. And then we became friends really at that point.
That's awesome. So tell me about your experience getting the opportunity to certify what was that, G-Made Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that was that kind of caught me off guard because I usually, like, if I see new models that come out and think that the company might be interested in having it Recon G6 certified, I send out emails. So I sent out probably 4 or 5 like in earlier, probably like May of last year, because the fix is around October when we do the 12-hour enduro. So I didn't hear nothing from anybody. So I was going to run my same one I did the year before. Okay. And I got an email from a PR guy from G-Made in Korea, and he said he was very interested. So actually him and I played email tag probably for a month. And by then it was only one more, like 3 weeks or a month until the fix. So I'm like, after I explained it all to him and showed him video, and finally he said, yeah, we'd love to do this. What can I do? I'll send you a new kit for the G-Made bomb. And I was like, Oh, wow. Do I really have time to get it in and then build it and test it so I know it will last? But it all worked out. He sent it and I had it in like 5 or 6 days from Korea.
Okay.
And I built it in about 3 or 4 days and finished it probably like a week, about 8 days, 7 days before the fix, before I went out to California.
That's awesome.
So I
So
was very proud, and they were very happy to have it certified. And I sent them a lot of good pictures and video, and they were very happy over there for sure.
so which are you running the castle in it? Which castle? Actually, better question. Which castle are you running in it?
Yeah, I'm running the Mamba X ESC and the 2850 kV motor
Well, that's got some
in that.
power.
Yeah.
There's,
Yep.
yeah, that'll take off. That's fun.
Yep. Oh yeah, wheel speed is probably my favorite thing about some of my rigs. In my other Ascender, I run the 3800 kV in that, so that I can get some wheel speed on that thing, and that's the one I use at the G6s, Recon G6 for the Terracross racing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
and
I'm
that's
not
the one.
competing in that. That's moving.
Yeah, he has Parker has different classes in Terracross, so you can do trail truck class. Then he has like the 22 class bombers and things like that. And then above that, I think he even does more of a really go fast race. So he has many different classes, and I like to compete in all of them because the Terracross racing is so much fun. It's like a crapshoot because you're out there, you're all running together, and there are no corner marshals. So you flip over and land on your lid. You basically are on the track unless you can upright yourself. So
Oh.
it's a blast. So.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean that throws out a little extra incentive
Yep.
to not mess up.
Like we say, smooth and slow, you does real well. You can't just blast out of the gate and start jumping everywhere because eventually you're gonna roll over or make a wrong move, and then you're just on the track as track art, as Parker says.
That's hilarious. So what's this Parker Fest coming up? This coming up what, next week?
Yep, next weekend. If this will be the second year for the one down in Florida, and it's a 4-day event. Recon G6 and Parker, we have probably 10 events or more than 10, and it ranges from team events to a TTC to the Terracross racing. This year he's doing the mega truck, the mud truck event, and so it encompasses everything. Any rig you can bring. Like I'm bringing all 5 of mine. My Summit. I have an axial bomber now.
Okay.
He's also doing a 3K race also. So I'll run my bomber in the 3K race, and then I have my other trail trucks for the TTC and the team trials and the scale trials. So It's basically nonstop for 4 days of running RCs, any type of surface RCs that you have.
That's amazing. I mean, really, that's amazing. I'd love to get down to one of those events. Especially having tiny humans, that makes things a little difficult. And keeping the wife happy makes we all know that one. And that's a common shenanigan we have to deal with because she thinks I'm nuts. So I mean, looking at it, where do you see your future? Just in RC, do you just see it more of a hot habit, a hobby, or do you even see it becoming, just pushing the hobby? Like, what's your vision on it?
Well, I think, as I said, personally, I like to see the growth of the hobby. I love to see people coming out to the events, having fun, smiling, and trying to show them a good time for anybody, even the people that have been veterans in the hobby or the newcomers. I love seeing that, and I love seeing the growth in people's events, and seeing a lot of the products that I endorse do well also, and stay and come out with new and exciting products. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still in the, as a believer of more of promotion of events and products, and not so much myself. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy getting out on the trails, but to be real competitive at any comp, I don't see myself ever doing that. It's just not me. It's not my thing to build a complete comp rig and worry so much about scale points and that type of thing. I'm more of a G6er. I like to get out, run on the trails, throw down gates, and go for miles.
That's crazy. Like I really like that philosophy. It's very impressive, very well thought out. So what's the biggest challenge you've come up against in your couple years of RC? And this could encompass anything from trying to get in Parker's brain, all through the actual driving, running. Like, what's that biggest challenge?
Hey, we joke about that all the time. It's scary. I've been so close into his brain that it's worrisome sometimes. But no, he's a great guy. You know him. He has a heart of gold. He will really do anything for you. He's he's all about the fun and the love and growth of the hobby. Mm-hmm. And he's very much loves the people in the hobby. So when I grow up, I want to be just like you, Parker. But no, I'm kidding. Go ahead. I missed sorry, I missed the question actually.
Look, that's gonna happen. It is what it is. Just because the conversation's great. So, like, what biggest challenge you've come across in RC?
Well, I expected when I first bought my hobby grade RC, I thought I could go out there, run the thing, do little maintenance. It will never break. And that was the first challenge for me, was like, man, these things break. I have to fix them. I'm not really, wasn't a real mechanical guy. My career was in software. So I was a software engineer for 30 plus years. Gotcha. Until I retired last year. But so to learn all that, they're easy to work on once you get into it and know exactly. But that was kind of the first big challenge, to know I got to work on these. I can't get frustrated if they break. I'm going to need to buy spare parts and be prepared when things break. And that was probably the first thing that was frustrating about the hobby. But you learn to deal with it and learn to like it, actually.
It's almost like an old Chevy or an old Ford, where you know that this thing's gonna break at this point. Starter solenoid, for example. You know it's gonna go. And you always have a spare just because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
I totally hear that one.
So, and then also being out on the trails too, I've learned to carry pretty much everything I think I would need that would break. And I've done so many trail repairs out there, pulling out diffs, changing gears in diffs, swapping transmission, because I hate to stop and have to pick up and carry my rig, especially when you're 5-6 miles from your car. That's like carrying a 10-pound bowling ball with you for 5 miles. That's no fun.
Yeah, that's an understatement. So, like, your trail pack, what does it essentially consist of when you're going on a long
So I definitely always carry spare gears for diffs, spare axle shafts, spare drive shafts, especially spare drive shaft pins, things like that. They break more often than anything. Don't worry too much. Running Castle, I've never had a problem with the ESC overheating or a motor going bad. So I don't carry any spare EST or motors. Don't have to. I think I did this week, actually. I tried to go out on Monday for a long trail run. And when I got to the trailhead, my truck wasn't working. So I had to actually just turn around, drive back home, and start troubleshooting. It turned out it was a bad receiver. And that's the first that's ever happened.
Wow.
So I swapped out a spare receiver and everything was fine. And next day I went out. So
okay. Which receivers do you run? Well, your
Spectrum. They're Spectrum receivers, and I have all Spectrum radios. Actually, you probably saw some people running and talking about the new DX5 Rugged.
Yep.
These are really cool for out on the trail, for sure. They're really ruggedized. They have bumpers all around and a nice wheel for steering. You got a thumb steering wheel. So I've always run the Spectrum receivers and transmitters.
See, it's funny. My transmitter last night, the wheel connects, and I have a DX5C, and I'll have all my buttons that actually came apart.
What, the wheel broke?
No, the housing holding the wheel where it has the housing crack. Yep, it went.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting.
6 pieces of duct tape, and it also cracked on the bottom. So 6 pieces of duct tape are holding it together.
I did see that post. I didn't realize it was you.
Oh yeah.
Did you drop it, or you don't know what happened?
I know when on the bottom crack, I know I dropped it. But before that, I have no idea what happened. So I'm just gonna run with it. Because I have a small comp out in Winchester, Virginia, which technically is on the way toward your area. Technically, maybe 4 hours more, But I'm going out there to try my hands at not sucking.
All right, good. Well, good luck. Yeah, definitely good luck.
All goes well. I'll probably see Bill too, and a couple other guys. Because he's down.
Yeah, because
he'll be
coming to Florida too. So, okay. But yeah, I think he'll be at the Virginia event. I think he did mention that. So
yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous you guys are going down to Florida. I don't think my boss would be very happy with me.
Which boss?
Downside of being the new guy. Downside of being the new guy.
Oh, the boss. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Light truck or heavy truck?
I've really run heavy rigs. I've always kind of started with my Summits very heavy. So all my scale trucks are pretty heavy, probably not 8, 9, 10 pounds.
Okay. Linked or leafed?
Well, I got my first leaf rig just a couple months ago, and I really like it, but I'm still more of a link guy right now.
Okay. Favorite size tire?
Probably the 19475 diameter, in that range. And of course, the Voodoo KLR is my tire of choice, only choice.
Okay. Snow or mud?
Oh, I love mud. To trail to where I live here in Kentucky, if you want to go out and trail, you better learn to love the mud or the water, or you're going to be sitting inside on your butt all the time. So I've learned to love the mud. Yep.
That's a great point. And learn to love how to walk in and not slip.
I know, exactly. That's a whole nother art about actually finding the best line to walk in a lot of the trails on the farm.
That's the truth.
That's for sure.
Servo winch or external winch?
I've always used external winch, but I'm slowly ready to probably make the jump to a servo winch because I've burned up a lot of winches in my day, so I think I'm ready to make a move to something different. So, yep.
I hear that one. All right. 6.0 or 7.4 for your
6.0, what's
voltage.
that? Oh,
Voltage.
it's like 6.0, 7.4.
Some people like it. Some people like it. That's why I have to ask.
Yeah. Yep. Well, no, actually,
right.
I run 3S. So I'm sorry. I'm running 3S all the time. So I'm running 11.1.
Woo! That's I run 3S as well. But I set my
Right.
VC at 7.4, so that my electronics don't catch on fire.
Oh, yes. I see. You're talking about the setting of the BEC.
Yeah.
It depends on what servo I'm running. So on one rig, I think I run 7.4, but the other ones, I can only run 6.0. So on those, I have it set to 6.0.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Personally, I like
because
to
the Mamba X, you can set it to the BEC voltage that you want. You know,
Okay.
from that range. It comes default like 5.5 or 5.6, or you can go up to 7.4. I think is the max. It might be 8.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
that's
so.
I'm living on borrowed time on that mini servo for my TRX4 transmission. It's been 7.4 for, I know it's gonna go. It's just a matter of time. I'm living on borrowed time.
I'm surprised that will handle that because they use the same servos, the shifting servos you're talking about, right? Or are you talking about steering servo?
Oh no, shifting servos.
Yeah, they do. The Summit has the same mini servos in that for the shifting in your diff lock, and those definitely can't handle that much power, I thought, and they go out very easy. I messed up many of those mini servos in my Summit the first year or two I had it. Yeah, many.
Actually, I gotta thank. By the way, I do have to say hi to Sherry just because she's been a huge supporter here as well. But Ryan brings up a great point with
Ryan who?
Ryan Payne. So,
oh yeah,
yeah.
He's my buddy down in Florida.
Oh yeah. See that's so. All right. So I know you're sponsored by Ottsix. So I'm gonna ask you an Ottsix question. Golds, silvers, or reds? Well, can't be reds anymore but golds or silvers?
I run my golds a lot, but also run reds. So I don't really have a really clear favorite. So I'd say both reds and golds. It's hard to differentiate. I like them both.
That's a bad question on my part because I remember Matt was saying he had the issue with the 4.19s, not the bigger tires. So I apologize for that. I'll make sure my numbers are correct. So much.
Yeah.
So all right.
They do go ahead. They do have the red compound in the 475 KLRs also. Yeah. They have the Vex red compound for the smaller tires. That's what I have on my Marlin Crawler.
Yeah. I think we have one of the last few sets before the mold issue came. So what do you use to waterproof your receivers, or do you just run them?
Yeah.
I know Spectrum has a waterproof receiver. I'm using the SR 6000 and SR 415s. And I know they're waterproof, but do you do any extra?
At first, I didn't. I never touched them. If I got them wet and they went bad, I just bought another one. But I said, well, this is pretty silly. So I actually bought a bottle of the conformal coating. So I actually waterproof all my receivers and also my winch controllers myself. So, and then of course the Mamba X and all that's already waterproof. So I break them apart and you just kind of spread this and brush this on the circuit board. Works great. I've never had a problem since.
See, that's good because I have one of the RC four-wheel drive controllers for the winch that I need to do that with. I just did the
Yeah,
round and I did all that, but I'll do the internals.
that's why I got here. See, you can break it open. It has these little tabs. Sometimes you break
Got
the
it.
tab and then I end up having just to put a little tape on it. But the circuit board just sits in there with the two connectors. So it's easy to pull
Okay.
out and hang it up and then basically just brush it with a conformal coating. It takes maybe like 5-10 minutes. Then it
Beautiful.
dries within an hour or so.
That's good because I'll need to do that.
I definitely
kind of
recommend that for those winch controllers for sure.
Yeah, I abuse my trucks, so I have to. There's no other way to put it.
That's another reason. Being in this wet climate, in all the water and creeks I drive through, it's a must. A waterproof receiver, even though it's in the receiver box, it still gets water or condensation in there that can ruin your receiver real quick.
Thinking about that, the waterproofing and the maintenance. What's your preferred gear lube, especially with the amount of water and mud that you deal with?
Yeah, I'm not much. I've always used WD-40, so I don't have like a lot of. You're talking about internal to the gears, or just around the bearings and things like that.
Oh no, I do like Lucas. Lucas, this is the off-brand from Lucas. You get from Napa Auto Parts.
Oh yeah,
good old-fashioned marine grease to protect the interior. Like that's what I use. What's your go-to?
Marine grease, but that's what I started with.
That's the same stuff.
Then I started. Now I just use the white lithium grease.
Okay, I think we literally use exactly the same product.
So
yeah,
is it
funny.
Okay? I didn't see. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're using pretty much the same stuff. Wow, at least in that area, I'm glad that we think alike.
Because that's what I use in my diffs and in my transmission for some of the diff lube and gear lube in those
man, that's
external, those internals. Yep.
All right, so if you're someone, if you've got a couple people that come to you looking to get into the hobby, what advice would you give them? Like, from truck to practice to learning, just learning everything. What advice would you give someone that really wants to enjoy it and with a family?
Right. Well, I think in that case, if you're talking about a family and you want to go out and buy a RTR, a ready to run rig, and then and get a couple batteries, and you can be out really the next day, and a charger, of course. You can be out the next day and having fun with your son, daughter, family. And that's my recommendation. That's how I got into the trail trucks. I bought an RTR and bought more than a few now. And so that's how I started. And then you learn as you go to how to maintain it, how to replace parts. And so that's my first recommendation. Definitely get an RTR. There's so many great brands out there, being an Axial Rig, Viterra, HPI. There's so many good ones. Traxxas, the TRX4 that you have, and they're all competitively priced. So for $350, $400, you can have a pretty good RTR rig and have a battery to be able to go out there and spend an hour or two on the trails or wherever you like, rock crawling area, wherever.
That's awesome. And what advice would you give anybody looking to learn how to become a person that would want to get sponsored? Because you've got the laundry list, right? Like when I had to go. I went to your profile just to make sure I got everybody because I was not sure.
Parker laughs at me. I had this one picture up on my webpage. It's actually a shirt that I have, and it had all my sponsors. But then for the fix, I was certifying parts for different companies like Beef Tubes and Scalar Fab. So I had all their logos on my shirt. So I had like 15 logos on my shirt. He gets a kick out of that one.
So you were like
He
a
goes,
walking billboard.
you don't hate anybody, do you? I said, no,
Yep.
I want to be friends with everybody.
See, that's the other side of the community, because you always have the people who are like one-sided. You know, oh, I have to do this or do this. I can only live this way. It has to be axial. It has to be Traxxas. It has to be this. Oh, that drives me insane, because so many things work.
I know.
And
I was a big it took me like 6 months to buy my Ascender, because I'm that type of guy. I did my research and I'm like, I don't know. That was before the SCX 10.2 came out.
Okay.
So I'm like, the Ascender seems to have a better out of the box and this and that. So I finally bought the Ascender for that reason. And then shortly after that, the 10.2 came out. But either way, but there's so many good rigs out there. You can have fun. You might have a preference for body style or a manufacturer like Ford or Chevy or something like that, that a lot of these companies have the licensed bodies, of course. So yeah. I think that's what attracts a lot of people to different brands, or different rigs for that reason.
That's kind of me. I was looking for the longest time for a Chevrolet body to fit my go-to truck. And that's how I landed on the Colorado, because I'm like, oh, well, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. No one has this one, so I like, and it's a Chevrolet, so I like it. I can work with it. I'm waiting. I want a Silverado like that, the new body style from 14 back. I want one of those in the worst way, but it's got to be in a 12.3 wheelbase. Right. I'm so waiting. I might have to take one of the 12.8s and cut that half-inch off. I might have to.
You might have to.
That might be my only choice, because I really want one.
Especially, because you never know. You know, you could be waiting for a long time.
Yeah, and it's funny. Mitch just mentioned, what's going on, Albert? We get one of each. That was literally my personal philosophy for a while. I ended up having a bunch of my trucks shipped to my school, because I didn't want my wife to get mad. Well, until she saw the credit card bill. Then I'm like, all right, I can prepare for this.
Yeah, I have a lot of different rigs now too. Well, I have 2 Ascenders. I have the G-Made. Then now I have the Axial Bomber. I did have a SCX 10.2 for about 1 day, but then I sold it to my buddy Joe Halke, who gave it to one of his friends, one of his employees. So I sold it to him because I said I didn't need all these trail rigs, but I probably should have kept it, but that's all right. It's all right. No biggie.
Yeah. So all said and done, where your biggest joy of the hobby is outside of running is just kind of like helping people get going, figure out, troubleshoot.
I do like when I love talking to people at events when I can, but another big thing with me, as you see, I work part of the G crew and work with Parker as many events as I can get to. And I really enjoy like the setting up the course and getting the property ready or getting the site ready for people to come and have fun. And then when they get there, to see them actually out there running and say, oh, that was cool. And it brings me satisfaction. It's the same reason I help my good friend here, Joe Halke, and Beat the Creek. He was probably one of my first friends in the hobby that got started talking about scale trucks. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And he was the first one too, how we became friends. He started Beat the Creek, and the first one, he allowed us to bring our summits and run on the trails.
Oh, that's awesome. How'd it do?
So yeah, it probably tore up more stuff than he liked. I think there's video of me running through one of his signs. It was an accident. One of his banners that he put out, scale banners, the truck I wasn't paying attention and just ran right over it. But so he really took a chance to have us there. And I ended up promoting that to all the Traxxas Summit guys. And they came from 3 or 4 different states. I think we had like 15 or 16 guys that came to first Beat the Creek with all summits. And I think he ended up having 75 or 80 that year. And 15 of them were us guys tearing up his trails with summits. So I became good friends with him for that fact, that he really stuck his neck out there in the scale world to have these guys with these big tire trucks running over the trails and running over gates. And then we became good friends. So I love helping him. I do a lot helping him with sponsors, as you probably have seen for Beat the Creek. And then when it comes time, we start working on the trails, which we did yesterday too. For the first time, we started working on the trails. And it's great working with him because, again, he has a great piece of property. He has 84 acres with 6. Wow. We have 6 miles of trails basically that you run over a 2-day period of time.
That's cool.
So we have 4 courses, and you run 2 courses each day, basically. Now, if you can only be there one day, okay, maybe you try to do all 4, you try to do 3, but that's up to you. But we try to make it a whole weekend event starting on Friday night. There's free camping in his big field. It's all primitive camping, but free camping. The vendors are free. So we invite anybody to come out. It's a family fun event. And Joe and his wife, Sue, and Emily, his daughter, they are great hosts. They are, again, salt of the earth people. And it's great. It's great having friends like that, for sure. And I love helping them and promoting their events.
That's awesome. I don't know if I can get out there, but I'm going to try and see if my wife will want to go to Kentucky. I've been to your state, in Louisville. Beautiful city. Honestly, it's one of my favorite cities I've ever visited. Just it was clean. They also served me underage. The fishbowl was great.
So that's why you like it.
Well,
Louisville's okay.
Many moons ago. We're talking. All I mean, I was back in 2003. So talking out of school, that's almost wow. Wow.
That's a long time ago.
That's a really long time ago. Yeah. So,
but yeah, Louisville is okay, but eastern Kentucky and Lexington, that's a little better.
Gotcha.
So you got to get to Lexington and get out my way here in eastern Kentucky. The event is held in Maysville, Kentucky, by the way, which is right on the Ohio River, about an hour east of Cincinnati.
Okay. I know right where you're talking because I'm familiar with that.
On the Kentucky side, of course.
I'm familiar with that river. When I was growing up in Pittsburgh, I took a lot of time and I fished the Ohio. So,
are you from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I grew up in Carnegie.
I was born and raised in Pittsburgh.
Which one?
It's a small world.
It is. Very small.
I grew up in I went to high school at Moon High School out in Coriopolis.
I know where that is. I know. I used to be on back in the day when I was skinny. I swam competitively out there, and I mean, there's a bunch of guys in here from Southwest PA that are in here right now. Good. So yeah, that now we're bringing it home. I mean,
that's right. Yep.
Moon area.
Born and raised Pittsburgh. I also lived in Monroeville and Murraysville and then Coriopolis. And that's where I went to high school.
I know Corey very well, and we go drag racing out Pittsburgh Raceway, or what now it's Keystone again. So yeah,
I think Keystone. Yeah. Cool.
So
small world.
That's a very small world. That's nice. That's a very small world. Well, Chris, man, it was an honor to talk to you. And do you have any parting words for our crew?
No, it's like I said, my first live interview, and chatting with you, I was like, I don't know, I'm not that type of guy, but it's not that big of a deal. It's easy to chat with you. I'm not even paying attention to anybody else, so it's kind of like we're just having a conversation. So
Yeah. I mean, I was when you were talking, I was kind of giggling because as you were talking, I was kind of like just kind of keeping an eye out there, and I saw
Yeah.
some shenanigans going. So it's probably good that we were focused because we would have got sucked in.
Oh, I'll go back and read them. I know I will.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you asking me. You know, I'm by far, like I said, I'm not the best builder or a comp driver or anything, but I appreciate you asking me
You're
to
very
come on
welcome.
and interview me. Thank
So,
you.
you're very welcome. So what it comes to me is like the way you present yourself, the way, when companies say we're not looking for the best driver, we're looking for the people who are going to do the best job getting the word out, helping, promoting our brand. Like that
That
is
is
what
the
your skill
case.
is. That's your skill set.
Yes. Yes.
Plus the enjoyment of the hobby, of course.
That's right. And I'm always positive. If you want sponsors, especially in the social media world, definitely be positive all the time in your posts. Yeah, you might be mad about something or don't like something somebody said, but don't get sucked into that. Just be positive, be yourself, and always promote the hobby in good light. And that helps your own sponsors. You know, they see that. They know how nice, a good of a person you are, or how positive you are, and that goes a long way. You don't have
Those
to
are
be the
great
best
words.
driver. You don't have to be the best builder, but they do want you to post and promote their product. And definitely,
Oh no, what happened? You just stopped. Is it that Eastern Kentucky thing? Chris? Oh no. All right. Is that me? Am I still here? I don't even know. But yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. Let me see if I can bring you back in. Chris. Okay. Sorry, Chris. I'm gonna try and bring you back in. Get a fresh connection. Oh, that explains why bad storms are going through. Okay, okay. All right.
hey,
Hey,
what
we're
happened?
good. Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
They were saying it's storming outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty windy here too, so we're probably going to be getting some rain ourselves. So where was
Yeah.
I in my long-winded answer?
Be a good person.
Oh yeah, be positive on social media, and definitely another good thing, if you're interested in a product, definitely what I did is I had a castle system in my Summit. So on those Summit pages, I always said, hey, I love the Mamba Monster X that I had in that, and the big. So even before I even knew there was such thing as a team driver, I was always promoting the products that I use that I found that were good. And that's how
Gotcha.
it started. I think that's how Castle came about. I know it was, and really Ottsix and Boca bearings. That was another one. They don't really have a lot of team drivers in the crawler world, so that was kind of something new that they wanted to get into, and they liked how I presented it, and we have a good relationship now with the guys down there.
See, that's awesome. I
Oh,
mean,
I
that's
can't hear
really
you.
awesome. That's okay. That's really awesome, especially with you good? Can you hear me? Hey, it's like I feel like I'm on a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? See, you got good video, but that Kentucky windage over there. Oh, I can't even get the bad joke.
I don't know. I can't hear you, MJ.
I can hear you fine though. We're getting a tour of the house. The house. All right. Well, with that, I mean, with your
What
storm,
happened to the sound?
that's okay. Well, here I'm gonna bring you back in and see if we can get this to happen one more time. There you are. Let me bring you back in. All right. So, we good?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So I guess with that, guys, Chris, any last parting words again?
No, just go out, enjoy the hobby, and if you don't have a rig yet, get one, and enjoy yourself. That's kind of my parting words. It's all about the fun. Be fun, treat people with caring and respect, and that's about all.
I love it. Well, Chris, I really appreciate the opportunity that you said, okay, a little bit of, little arm twisting. Actually, you twisted your own arm. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So, all right. Chris, you have a great evening. Good luck with your storms. And
you're right.
enjoy some of your next build. All right. Thanks, brother. Have a good one.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.